Preferred not to use the microphone. Is that good? Fantastic. At the outset, on behalf of Mrathon South Africa, the SA Zionist Federation and all South Africa, we'd love to thank all of you for gathering here this evening. Just before I begin, which perhaps reverse order, I just wanted to give some thanks and also a bit of background. One of the tremendously worrying trends that I've seen, and I suppose we've all seen, coming over the past 10-15 years is a real attempt to hit at the fundamental legitimacy of the State of Israel. In 2001, I was with another Kramer in Durban, at the Durban Racism Conference. It was the first time that we had to confront a really concerted, well-constructed effort to really hit at the heart of our beloved state. And slowly but surely, over the past couple of years, it's become really apparent that there's a real planned, invidious scheme to swing a large number of African governments to bring their votes in the UN, and particularly in the UN Security Council, against Israel. I don't know if people are aware of this, but in 5 to 10 years' time, there'll probably be another 5 seats on the UN Security Council, 5 permanent new seats, one of which is probably going to go to South Africa, which means, and definitely to an African country, which means that the attempt to gain support for the State of Israel amongst African nations, which is not something which is just stuck in Golda Meir's time and helped us get the plans for Entebbe so we could invade it when we needed to rescue hostages. But it's gone a lot beyond that, and there's a strategic need. And about 4 years ago, we were sitting around a table, and we said, and I sit on the board of the SA Zionist Federation, and we were discussing what exactly we could do. And one of the guys turned to us and said, well, you're religious Zionists. Aren't there other Zionists in the country who aren't Jewish? And the answer is there are. And we have a representative of one of those churches with us tonight, the ZCC, the Zionist Christian Church. And we began a process of reaching out to newfound allies to really create a powerful block of people who would stand up and actually wield political force on behalf of the State of Israel. I'll never forget our first meeting. We went to a guy who has over 1 million people on his farm every year, called the Mighty Men Conference, 1 million Christian men. And he told us unequivocally that he wanted to be part of things, but what could he be a part of? So over the past couple of years, we've generated programs. The first thanks I'm going to put tonight is to a person who really saw this vision earlier. Darren Platsky's here. We ran a program to get a broad variety of people to ride in the 94.7 Cycle Challenge last year, and Darren was part of that. We had the largest group. This year we'll probably have 250 to 300 riders riding in the blue and white. We had this year, the majority of our riders were black, Christians, supporters and lovers of Israel. And what we're doing now, and the vision that we have now, is along a similar line, to really bring the attention of people to the love that a huge number of people have for our state and the real legitimacy that they can confer in a way that we can't. So we were looking for an outstanding example of South African running talent who bore a strong love for Israel. And someone said, call Ludwig. So I said, Ludwig, do you think he'll come? Now, of course, for runners like myself, a Comerades runner is just somewhere between the Lubavitcher Rebbe and God. Lubavitch is just slightly above, depending where you are. So we said, okay, well, what can we lose? And if I can tell you what the phone call was like, and maybe Ludwig's forgotten, but I haven't. Ludwig, we'd love you to come and run in the marathon in Jerusalem. And the response was, I've been praying for 5 years for God to send me to the Holy Land. And second person I want to thank is Martha Silva and Stoney, and the second Mr. Kramer, because I told Martha about this harebrained scheme. He said, that's a brilliant idea. Why don't we do something with Beit Isi Shapiro, and we're close to the Bayit Shel Benji. So I said, great, let's do this evening. So Michael said, great, I'll get Andy Saitovitz to do it. So This has been the best event I've ever organized in my life. Did absolutely all close to nothing. And really a huge thank you to Michael, to Stoning, to Saul, to Beit Izzy Shapiro, to Abacho Benji, to Ruth as well, and to all of you for coming. We really and truly appreciate it. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Rabbi Ramon Whitmont. So for those who don't know me, we're tremendously proud of what we're doing here. We hope all of you will support Ludwig. So any of you who are on Twitter, for the older madrichim in the audience, that's a thing on a phone. Get your kid to show you. You can follow everything that's going on over here. Please spread it out. The Twitter handle is @RavRazor. That's my Twitter handle, RAVRAZR. And the hashtag is #GoForGold with the number 4, #GoForGold. And on Facebook, you can follow it on the Unity Challenge. We'd like to get a serious number of people aware of this, and you will send it out afterwards. But please God, and the last thing I'm going to ask you all is really to daven hard over the next couple of days. Daven hard for Ludwig, pray hard for Ludwig, and we really hope that he's going to come away with the gold, and that we will have a proud South African winner on the front page of every major newspaper, in the sports section at least. But on the South African newspapers, it'll definitely be front page, saying Ludwig Mamabola has won the Jerusalem Marathon 2015. Thank you all for coming, and
Hi, good evening. It's an honor for me to welcome and introduce Ludwig tonight, not only as a member of the Stonehague Israel team, not only as an ex-South African, and not only as a runner, but also my first Comerades Marathon in 2012 was the Comerades that Ludwig won. Now, before I talk a little bit about Ludwig, I just want to, for those, I see a lot of Comerades Marathon runners here, so a lot of people here know what it is. For those who don't know what it is, I'll be very brief. It's an 89-kilometer run between Durban and Pietermaritzburg every year. It's been run since 1921, except for a few breaks during World War II. This year they're running the 90th year of the Comerades Marathon with over 23,000 runners. So every year it alternates the direction. So one year they call it a down run, the other year they call it an up run. Now, for anyone who's running the Jerusalem Marathon on Friday, the first half of the Comerades Marathon down run makes the Jerusalem Marathon look quite easy. So it's quite a challenge, and one of the things I recall very, Ludwig, you probably wouldn't remember this because I think you were a little bit in front of me. You know, the down run, it was a down run, my first run, and the down run doesn't really start until you reach 60 kilometers. Okay, by which point your legs are finished, so down, up doesn't make a difference. But what happens at 60 kilometers, for us Jews, and Rabbi Whitmont mentioned the Lubavitcher Rebbe, at 60 kilometers, there's a big rabbi waiting for you with a pair of tefillin, and as you come past, you don't have a choice. He grabs you, he straps them on you, and it's the best thing because there's nothing more that you want to do at 60 kilometers but than to pray to God. And there's nothing worse because God was so upfront with me and said, sorry mate, you're on your own. And those last 30 kilometers, well, it was quite an experience. But the funny thing is, a guy in our Israel office here, an Israeli guy, just before I ran that first run, you know, he lives in Tel Aviv. He looked at me and said, Saul, you know, I live in Tel Aviv. I don't think I've ever driven 90 kilometers. and he was being serious. He was trying to work out from Tel Aviv to Haifa, because that was the furthest he'd ever driven. Anyway, now we get on to Ludwig, right? Because Ludwig won that race in 5 hours 31, that's right. Now if you do the maths, that's 3 minutes and 43 seconds per kilometer. That's like running the width of Karen Hayer Sword Street from Weizmann to Achuza in 3 minutes 43 seconds, 90 times. Now try to do that once. I don't think any of us could do half of that at that speed. But that is an unbelievable, impressive win that you had. You've run 5 Comerades Marathons, 5 golds.
Wow.
And when Ludwig won in 2012, he took back the South African crown. He was the first South African to win in about 7 years, taking it back from the Russians and the Zimbabweans after, so it was a very proud moment for South Africa too. I'm a friend of someone who trains pro athletes in South Africa. He's also one of the sponsors of the teams Ludwig runs for. And when I told him that I was introducing Ludwig tonight, I said, give me some stories, tell me a little bit about Ludwig. And he said to me, I have to tell you one thing. He said, I've trained lots of pro athletes. He said to me, Ludwig has to be one of the most intelligent runners he's ever met. He said to me, he's not only, is he not a full-time athlete, Ludwig works in a bank, he's a banker, he's a family man, he's an ambassador of the sport in South Africa. He also coaches and mentors young athletes in South Africa. And he said to me, he's never, of all the pro athletes he's trained, he's never seen someone who looks at the big picture of a run, who knows how to train from the beginning to end with the goal and the winning in sight. So Ludwig, it's a great honor to have you here tonight, to have you in Israel. It's going to be a great honor running behind you again on Friday.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mudibe Ludwig Mamabolo. I was born on the 7th of April 1977 in South Africa by the dusty road of Soopia Mamabolo, which is one of the kings there in our place. Firstly, I would like to thank the Almighty God and Mrathon, South Africa, Stonebridge, and all the people who have supported me. And thank you, audience, for coming and listening to me from South Africa to Israel. I'm still on the cloud 9 because even now I'm still pinching myself whether is it possible I'm in Israel or I'm in the other planet. As they have introduced me, I am a family man. I've got 2 kids, 7 and 2. The older one, I don't think he will be a runner. He's more than dancing and singing. He dances a lot. I can't even match him. But the young one, I see him whenever I'm going out of the house, he's running in front of me. So I think that one you will inherit from me. I am I'm from one of the legendary athletes by the name of Titus Mamabolo. He's my great-grandfather. And most of people, when I ran, they said, no, you have inherited genes. It's not about inheritance. It's about the passion, it's about the hard work. So today, it's an honor for me to come at Beit EC Sapiro to speak to you. I always said to people, let us embrace the challenge. And that is when we will experience success. My life has never been an easy road. It was very difficult. I left my homeland of Polokwane to Johannesburg in 1998. By then, I didn't know anybody. My uncle was staying in Joburg, but I didn't know where. My first time I went, and then I went into the hostel. That night I couldn't sleep the whole night because it was for the first time ever in my life I saw a big rat in my eye. I was so scared I couldn't sleep the whole night. I couldn't sleep. Right, how did I start running? I'm working for Nedbank as a service champ. I've been working all my life. I don't believe on philosophy saying I need to be a professional athlete. I've got a BCom degree, and I've got a financial management diploma. I've got Excel. I went to school because my father believed that education is better than any other thing on the planet. And because I was a very good soccer player. I was a good striker. I represented my province. I've got accolades in soccer. I have achieved more than what I've achieved in running in soccer. Although I was very young, and my journey started running. It was in 1999. I was playing at home. We were playing soccer, and then I got injured. They took me to the hospital. And then when I went to the hospital, the doctor said to me, "You've got two choices. We either cut your leg or you start running." You know, we in our community where I'm coming from rural areas, we don't believe in doctors, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. We don't believe in the doctor. We are our own doctors because we've got our own belief and religion. Especially at our ZCZ Christian Church, that is where when you've got a problem, you go to church and the pastor, they will pray for you and they will make some tea for you to drink. That's what we believe in. And I had a very difficult choice to make because I was a very good soccer player. Everybody loves me. I was a very good soccer player. And now I start running and the doctor's cutting my leg. We black people, where I'm coming from, we don't believe in operation. Since I was born, no operation. I remember the young age when I was 7, I was broken leg. They used to put salt every night and water and everything. It was so painful and itchy. We even took the batteries. You see the PMP batteries. The older days, they used to use batteries for the radios. We take that when you've got a sore, you will put that in, you will feel more pain, you will cry, but the following morning you'll be walking, you'll be fine. So I had a very difficult choice to make. Whether I must start running or they must cut my leg. And it was a very difficult task, honestly, because I loved soccer, I lived soccer. Then I had to make a choice. And then I decided, okay, I'll play soccer, and then start running, play soccer, start running, play soccer. I will play soccer, I will go and run 6 o'clock in the morning race. 3 o'clock I'm playing on the ground. Along the route I realized that I'm torturing myself and my body. And one friend of mine said, you know, you can be a very good ultra distance runner. I said to him, no, my friend, I love soccer. I said to him, why? He said, you've got more energy, you've got more stamina. You can play soccer in the morning, go and run. Run in the morning, go and play soccer. You've got more stamina. I said to him, no. I kept on playing soccer until I completed my degree, and then at one stage I realized that along the route I developed the love of running. Because since I started running and my life changed completely, I became more disciplined than in soccer. So in 2002, my life begins at Bedford Runner, where I was a cleaner. My first job was being a cleaner. I started by cleaning the shops. And I'm very proud to announce that because it made me who I am today. Without that job, I wouldn't be where I am today. Without running, I wouldn't be who I am today. I am so grateful to Graham Moore from Bedford Runner. He is the guy who brought me into running. I remember my first race. I ran with the soccer boots and I was second. But I couldn't understand what was happening. Because everybody was complaining. Like when you were in soccer boots, when you were making noise to the people and I was running. But I couldn't even understand what was. He said to me, you are number second. And I couldn't understand what is number second. The next thing he gave me an envelope. That envelope, there was money. It didn't sink into my mind. He said, you can be a good athlete. I said, good athlete? He said, yes. I said, no, come. And the other time they've got time trials when they got all, I didn't know, it didn't sink into my mind what I've done, what I've just achieved. And the following Saturday, they called it a time trial. I didn't know about it. He said to me, you follow all, you see all these guys. Give me size, I'm wearing size 8, you give me size 9.5. The shoes, they will look at me like this. I was wearing them, but I was comfortable and I was very happy because that was my first shoe. I didn't know about the size, what the mechanism, all those things. And then I ran with those shoes and then we were doing 21 kilometers, around 12 Ks. Suddenly I was running in front of all those athletes he mentioned to them, and they couldn't pick up the pace with me because I was running very fast. And then he came to me and said, no, you must run with them. I said to him, no, I can't run. These people are very slow. And then the next thing I heard them, because we've got different languages in South Africa. I'm Northern Lesotho, they were speaking Zulu. From then I was still new. I didn't understand Zulu. I only knew Northern Lesotho and some other languages. And I could hear them at around 18 Ks, because I didn't know the route. At 18 Ks they were playing. I said, no, this guy is fast, but because he doesn't know. What you're going to do is, the other guy came to me and said, no, man, you mustn't run fast, you must run with me here. And then I was listening. There were only 3 Ks because we are about to finish. And then I could hear these guys, they're planning something. Why now? Suddenly they said I must start running slowly. And then I ran with that guy about 500 meters. And then suddenly those other guys pulled away and I said, no, I'm going there. He said, no, don't go. I said, no, I'm going there. And then I went there and then I won that time trial. And they said, man, you've got the talent, you are a good athlete. Still didn't sink into my mind. Until the other day, I think when was it, 2002, I only ran for a year. And I said to Graham, I want to be the champion. I used to admire Comerades, watching it on TV. And I used to say to him, one day, I will be like Kotov, I will be this Kotov, and all the Russians. I used to admire those guys when they were running. My adrenaline was just pumping when I was watching Comerades. I will watch it, I won't even eat that day. Early in the morning, 5 o'clock, I'm up. If it's cold, I'm with the blanket. I'm watching, only drink tea and watching what is happening. But still didn't sink into my mind. But I said to Graham, he said what? I said, I want to win that race. He said, no, you are still young, you can't do it. I said, no, but I will do it. 2002, we were a group, I think with 3 of us. And Graham said to me, Mama Bolo, I've got 3 athletes. And I knew there were 2 guys who were very faster than me. And I was not fast, I just had the stamina. And then there were 3 of us. We had to make choice. He said, I need only 1 athlete that I will take him to PE. And on that race, the person that I'm taking to PE is playing top 3. But I only need gold. And I said to him, Graham, he said, you do? I said, you trust me? He said, yes. I said to him, I know. You've got 3 fast guys. I'm the 3rd one. You've got this one and that one. I am the 3rd one. But why, my friend, did you take me chance? Take me there. Because you said you're going to be flying. I want to fly. I never fly in my life. Not ever. I was using the train, walking. I used to walk 8 kilometers from school every day. Walking, going home, coming back. That's how I grew up. And I was telling them in Ethiopia, when I grow up in our culture, where I'm coming from, you eat only twice a day. You will eat pap in the morning, early in the morning, 6 o'clock, and then you eat again at night when you sleep. There is no lunch, there is no what. These things confuses me when I came to Joburg. People said, there's a breakfast, there's tea, there's what. Maybe I might have tea once in a year in my life, honestly, when I grew up at home. We never used to eat meat. We have milk from the cow and the goat. That's how we grew up. And potatoes, we plow all those things. That's how I grew. When I came to Joburg now, the city was cold with lights. It was very confusing. Right, I said to Graham, you know what, Graham, you've got 2 guys who are faster than me. But there's something that I can promise you. I can promise you gold. And then he said, okay, it's fine. You go and speak to those guys, those who were fast. It was Amy and Robert. He said, Robert, I want to take you PE. And I was listening. I was saying to him, in my heart I was praying. I said, God, let him say no. Then we left with 2. And it happens. He asked Robert, Robert says no. Now we left with 2. He said, Amy, can you go? And he said, no. Yes, I will go. And then suddenly he got injured. 3 weeks before he can book the tickets to go to PE. Then he had with one option, trust me. He didn't trust me. And I could see him, this guy doesn't trust me that I will do it. And then suddenly I was the only guy who was left on his team. Then he flied me to PE. I remember that night, that day, it was for the first time ever in my life in a plane. I've never been in a plane. When we take off, I was so shivering like, it's like I was dying. I nearly vomited, but I couldn't. And I asked the guy who was next to me, I said, what is happening? I can't even see. Because it was a new experience. So he took me to PE, and then we went there, then we went to registration. After registration, we went to the hotel, and we had a meeting. And then he said to me, I need gold. I said, Graham, don't worry about the gold. You've got gold. Tell me more what you want. He said, no, I just need gold. I said, gold, even number 3. He said, yes. I said, okay, sir. You've got your gold. The whole night I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about getting the gold, pleasing Graham, winning the race. I remember it was for the first time ever in my life. I used to read about the top athletes, Nchilichas, we call them Nchilichas boys. They were twins. They were very, very fast athletes in South Africa. They've never been beaten before. And I come across to face them. It was a real challenge. I had pressure for me to get gold. I had pressure. Those 2 guys were there. When I went into the starting, I looked for them and I could see. I asked him, who is George, who's what? And he said, there. And he pointed them. I said, these 2 guys. He said, yes. I said, it's fine. What I'm going to do is my strategy is to sit behind them. Then see what happens. But guess what? When the race started, I think the first 1 kilometer we did in 4 minutes. And I looked at my watch, I said, 4 minutes? No, these guys are playing. 4 minutes is too much. Because we are joking, we are not running. Then I pulled away from all the group. They were there in Jesus and gold because I was running behind them and I could see they are taking time. I said, no, these guys are going to waste my time. 2nd kilo, I was running in front. 3rd, 4th, 5th. At 10 kilometer, Graham's wife, she was looking after me on the road. She kept on coming to me, go back. I said, what? Why must I go back? The whole race, she had my drinks. I couldn't even take the drinks because I was fighting with them. I was leading the race, but she told me to wait for those guys. I said, no. I remember at 21 kilometer mark, she said to me, no, go back. Those guys are coming, they're going to destroy. I said, just leave me alone. She said, yes, I drink. I said, I don't want it. I drink water. And guess what? I ran the whole race alone from 2 kilometers until 35. When I was at 35, she wasn't there. She went to tell Graham that your guy doesn't listen, he's running there. You know, I remember that day like each and every single of that moment because we were disagreeing and I was running, we were talking. She was in a car and I was running. I said, no, I don't even want your drinks. You drink them, I'm running the race. I was just drinking water. It was an amazing experience of my life. And at 35 kilometers, now 35 kilometers, I think I was tired because now I needed her. When I looked around, she was not there. The other guy came with a BMW, the black one. Then just came in, opened the door. He said, no, don't worry. You will win the race. I will win the race, yes. How many kilometers left? He said 7. I said, and then in the back, the guy said, no, the guys are not there. But I wasn't sure, but I was tired. I couldn't even look back. I ran until I reached 39. At 3 kilometers, the stress comes. That guy came again with the BMW. He said, the guys are coming. I said to him, how many minutes behind? He said, 3 minutes. I said, no, the one catching. I said to him, where is the finishing? And he pointed like about 5 kilometers away. He said, there is the finishing. I said, please God, help me. I want to be the first to reach there. And guess what? At the end of the race, I won that race. I ran 2 hours, 22 minutes for the first time ever. Wow. That was not the end. 2003, we went to the other race. It's an ultra marathon. That ultra marathon, the record was 2:50. And all the top guys in South Africa, all the top guys, they went there. They tried to break that record, they failed. And Graham said, no, I want to take 4 or 5 guys. It was paid top 10. He said, I need gold. I said, Graham, don't worry about the gold. You already have gold. What more do you want? I still ask him the same question. He said, no, you can't beat. There were names, you call names. You can't beat who's it, they are there. I said, Graham, you know what? I'm going to beat those guys. And if I beat them, you must pay me. Let's make an agreement tonight. So we made an agreement, me and Greg. The whole night, guess what? The whole night of Friday, we were running on Saturday. I couldn't sleep. I was singing, praising the Lord, I was praying, I was making noise. The whole evening come and say, no, move out of the hotel. I have to stay on the street for more than 4 hours because I couldn't sleep. The excitement. The morning, we went to the start. And I said to him, Graham, what do you want more? He said, no, I just need gold. I said, gold is top 10. You've got gold, don't worry. I just want to know what you need more. He said, you didn't sleep first thing, you didn't eat. How are you going to? And I said, don't worry about those things. He said, no, my wife's James is there, she's going to look after you. I said, no. I'll look after myself because I had a bad experience. She was telling me to stop while I wanted to. So the race started. I remember we were running. I didn't know I was in no man's land. And I ran with all two guys. I was so excited. I was sitting with them. He bought me the new Puma shoes. They were very nice, those shoes. Then we ran. I was looking at those guys. We were about 6 or 10 on the bunch. We were running 50 kilometers. At 25 kilometers, there was only one guy who was in front of us about 4 kilometers. And I said to the bunch guys, no, we are playing. And they looked at me, all of them, because they didn't know who I am. I said to them, guys, we are playing. I think now it's time for you to make a move. They thought I was crazy. They said, who is this? They asked each other, who is this guy? Where does he come from? Nobody knew. Suddenly what happened, I made a move from 25 kilometers. There was only one guy who followed me, and we ran together. On the road, just, no, don't run fast, you see. Who of these races are there, they've tried, they failed. I said, no, don't worry about them. Let's worry about the person who's in front. We couldn't see him. That guy was gone. He was gone. And I tried to ask, where is the first guy? They said, no, you can't see him. He's gone. And I was running with that guy. He said, no, the names. I said, you know what? Let me leave you here. You will wait for them. They will catch me in front. They will wake me up there if I'm tired. I ran away from him. There was Osaki Seneg. It's a mountain. They said, on that mountain you walk. I never walked. That's why I accelerated. Guess what? At 42 kilometer mark, I was passing that guy who was leading us by 4 kilometers. Wow. It was only 8 kilometers to go. And I went to him, because I respected him. I said, my brother, how are you feeling? He nearly beat me. He was tired, and I was still fresh. So I said to him, okay, it's fine. Bye-bye, you will find me when the week. And then I was at 45 kilometers, they said, you are winning the race. I'm winning the race because I was running with the blue light. There was a guy in front of me with the lights. I was so happy, I was so excited. My shoes were green, my hair was green, and the light, it makes complete my day for that. I ran that with confidence, but I was tired, but because of those greens, I was so happy. And then when I get into the stadium, I couldn't believe my eyes. Nobody believed it. I still have got that photo from Bedford View. They said when I went there, I still didn't sink into my mind. Graham was about 27 kilometers. They said to him, a known athlete has broken the record. And then what he did is, he asked what colors. And it was his colors. From then he took a gun to come to the finish. And then he couldn't believe when he found it. He said, did you break the record? I said, yes, I broke the record. It was 50 kilometers. It was for the first time ever running 50. And everybody came to me, how did you do it? I couldn't understand. It didn't sink into my mind that I'm the champion. I was like, for me it was like fun. But honestly, even today when I run, pain for me is fun. Pain is not something that can sustain you more than 30 minutes in your body. That one I can guarantee. Pain is just there to distract. That's how I feel when I run. It satisfies my soul. Running for me is not a game. Running for me is a lifestyle. You can even ask my bosses, at work at my lunchtime, I'm writing programs. They need to take one. I'm very strategic when it comes to running. So I'm always writing program, and I'll do it alone first. I'll test it alone myself and see if it works. Right now I'm coming into the big race. I ran from 2003, I broke all the records in Johannesburg marathons. I still have 221 records, the high altitudes. I broke every record that year. From 2003, I broke every year, I broke record, every year. Marathon was easy. I was not good at short distances. I love marathons and ultras. Because that's where I satisfy my soul. The more I feel pain, the more I feel happy. 2009, I went to Tuoshi. And I came 7th position. From then, 2006, Graham sold me from Bedfordville to Mr. Price. He sold. Said, no, I don't know what I need you. You have reached a stage whereby I can't handle you anymore. I'm pursuing to a professional team. Now I started running with the big guys. And I remember for the first time in my life, when I went to sign a contract with Mr. Price, they gave me a very big bag from that side to this one. With clothing, everything. I was mad, I was crazy. I went wild. Oh, these things for me, they said yes. And 2008, my running goes down. Because I was happy. Running for professional team, getting clothes for free, getting shoes for free. Everything was free. So I was in a free world. And what I did is, I lost in touch with my inner self. Because of what I've received. 2008, I lost it. It was gone. My running was going down the drain. Couldn't perform. 2009, I came back. I said to Mr. Price, give me the last chance. Because 2007, they entered for me Comerades. I said, a big no. 2008, they entered me Comerades. I said, a big no. 2009, they entered Comerades. I said, a big no. 2010, they didn't enter. They didn't enter me. 2009, I was 7th at 2 auctions. They entered me Comerades. I said, no, big no. 2010, they didn't enter me Comerades. And I said to them, 2010 is my year, I'm going to Comerades. And I was telling all my friends, I was so excited and nervous. You know, I was so scared. And 2010, they didn't enter that race for me. And I entered myself. I keep on training, keep on training. I remember the training that I was doing. Every afternoon on Sunday, I would go and do around 45 kilometers. And when I come back, I will sit on my couch, not on top of the couch. I will sit down flat and then watch TV. Put my pap here and I eat with meat. I will sleep from 2 o'clock until the next morning, 2 o'clock, I'll wake up. Just sitting there watching TV. That TV watches me right now. I couldn't watch it. The training that I was doing was very, very, very hard. Now comes the race 2010. I won't forget. I've run Comerades, 5 Comerades and 5 goals.
Wow.
My first was 2010. That was my first Comerade. And guess what with my first Comerade? I went there again. You know, people, sometimes I always say to people, have self-belief, believe in yourself. Whatever, no matter what other people are saying, it's not what you've got. Because I believe that God has invented talent. God has invented mind, a strong mind. God has invented a winning spirit in each and every individual. Sometimes you tell a friend, you know what, I want to win Comerades. You say, no, you are mad, you can't do it. They are mama bolos. He will give you names to scare you. But what I've observed is, you must understand that you are the only person who said a dream. You need to live your dream. 2010, when I went to Comerades, I should have won it the first attempt. What happened is, I was asking the experienced guys. I remember even on the route when I go to the halfway, I passed this 2 hours, 45 minutes, and I said to the guys that I was running, because they were big names, and I asked them, can I start to attack? They said, no, it's too early. Just wait. I said, no, no. And then, what about the other guys? No, they are 15 minutes. They were about 25 minutes ahead of us. And we were 25 minutes behind. And I asked those guys, can I go? They said, no, it's still early, just sit here. I said to them, no, I'm no longer sitting. Those guys are 25 minutes is too much. Rather let me go there, and then when you find me, you pick me up. Let me go, and then you find me. They thought I was playing, and then I made my move. I'll move away from them. I didn't know where I was. I was running at the end. When I came to this pole, they said position 6. But when I my first comrade, honestly, I never went there for a medal. I went there to finish the race. But because of enthusiasm, because of the hard work that I put through, I ended up becoming second behind Stephen Muzingi. I remember, can't even forget, I still remember that race correctly. It was around 75 kilometers. I even pinched myself like this. Because my manager was sitting on the roof. He said, Ludwig. I said, yes. He said to me, forget about the first guy. I said, who's the first guy? He said, no, it's Stephen Muzingi from Zimbabwe. Forget about him, we won't quote him. I said, why? He said, you know what? I said, I don't know. I was running, I was talking to him, and I was going down. He was talking to me like a kid. He was there, 50 meters, and I was still coming, but I was communicating with him. He said to me, number 2 and number 3, they are 45 seconds. You are 45 seconds behind. I said, what? 45 seconds or 45 minutes? He said 45 seconds. And I was like, wow, what kind of a race is this? And then you know what happened? Suddenly when I looked up, because I was just looking and I was running like this, not even looking what I was doing. And when I looked up, I saw 2 guys there. I said, God, please give me the strength to get those guys. I went to them within 5 minutes. I was in the second position. And I couldn't believe it. When I went to the stadium, everybody was overwhelming. They were very happy and shouting. Still didn't sink into my mind. And they said, position 2. I said, position 2? Wow, God is great. That was my 2010. I came second from nowhere. Nobody knew about me. And they were asking, who's your coach? Who's your physio? Who's your doctor? Who's your dietitian? You know, now they're talking another language that I don't know. Because I just the resources that I've got. So what I'm trying to say is, irrespective of resources, you can achieve what your heart desires. You must have confidence. You must have self-belief. You must believe. Because I knew that I can run that race, but I was scared. And then they said, come second. 2010, I was second. Everything was right. Then I go home. Everybody wanted to sign me now. I get confused. Why these people want to sign me? Because I'm running for this. And 2011, I trained. 3 weeks before the race, I took leave, I went home, and I trained harder. A week before Comerades, my legs couldn't take it. I was feeling pains even when I woke up from bed. I couldn't understand. And I went to the doctor. When I went to the doctor said to me, you have pulled all your 2 hamstrings. It is impossible for you to run this year. I said, what? He said, hamstrings. I said, what is hamstrings? You know, some things, it takes time to understand. But education is a key. I've learned a lot. And I said to them, I remember, even my father said, no, you are not running this year. I said, no. If I don't run, I will be like a coward. I was second. Everybody's looking for me. I was second. I must go there and run again. The doctor said, no. If you go there, come back and see me after 2 days. Then you'll be admitted in the hospital. I said to him, yes, I believe you are the doctor. You are the most educated guy. You have learned about the veins. You have learned about everything. But my doctor, let me tell you something. There is a man about there that whom I don't trust. Can you allow me and my God to do this duty? He says, no, you can't run. He even gave me a letter, and I had that letter. Then he said, take this letter to Mr. Price, to my team managers. And I know if I took that letter to my team managers, they won't allow me to run. I said, no, I'm not going to give them this letter. And then they were asking me, are you all right, Ludwig? I said, yeah, I'm all right. But in my heart, I know, I want to run this race. Because I ran the down run, I came second. Now it's the up run. If I don't run it, I'll be the coward. And I remember the night our manager came to me and said, are you all right? I said, are you sure? Are you all right? I said, no, I'm all right. He said, didn't you go, I don't know, maybe somebody told me, didn't you go to the doctor? I said, no, I didn't go to the doctor. I kept quiet. And then when the race started, I ran with those 2 hamstrings. I ran with the pain. I ran with pain. 2011, the whole race from start, I ran with pain. But it was between me and my God that I know I've got pain. And I know that I will do it. I will go there. The whole day, the last, from after 70 kilometers, my whole body was numb, but I kept going. At the end of when I went to the stadium, I was positioned 7. Guess what? And I said, God, thank you. Indeed, as you said to the Israelites, you never forsake or leave them. Even myself, you never leave me or forsake me. Now I came 70 with these injuries. And then guess what? After 2 weeks, I went back to the doctor. I couldn't train. My body was finished. It was a breakdown. And I went to the doctor. Then when I went there, the doctor said, no, for me, you look fine. You can start running. I said, wow, praise the Lord. But I didn't start running. He said, how did you do it? I said, faith. Faith is the key. It's something that nobody can take it away from you, irrespective of any condition or the situation that you face. The difficult time came into my life, 2012. I trained a month before. I asked my bosses to give me a month to go and prepare. Honestly, from 2012 January, when it started, I told all my friends, all the people, I'm the champion this year. Are you mad? You came 7th. I said, no, I don't worry about 2011. I'm talking about this year. I'm winning these Comerades. My friends said, are you mad? I said, no. When you talk to me today, announce me as a 2012 champion. They thought I was mad. Everybody thought I was mad. Even my mother, even my wife. They thought maybe something is missing in my mind. I said, I need this service. I worked. Then I went to my bosses. I asked leave. I said to them, can you please give me a leave? I want to train only for these 3 weeks. He says no. I said to them, it's fine. What I'm going to do is, you stay with your money. I go with my belief. I'm going home. I'm going to train. I don't need your money. What are you going to eat? Don't worry about what I will eat. God will provide. And indeed, 2012, I took 3 months unpaid leave. I went home. And I was training on the mountains. My father was even complaining. He said, no, this is not right. You're so skinny. But in my mind, I was the winner for 2012. And indeed, 2012 came. I won the race. Why? I believed. I had faith. And God gave me the strength. In life, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in God, if you put faith in God, whatever you ask from Him, God will give you. God will never curse you. No, exactly. 2012, I won the race. When I won the race 2012, I was so excited. I was very happy. Everybody was happy. When I went home, everybody was happy. Even myself was saying, now I am the champion. Silently. You know what? The devil is the devil, and God is God. That is where I know there's an evil spirit and there is a Holy Spirit. And I believe that it is there. After my win of 2012, there was a guy who phoned me from Durban. I still remember it was the 22nd of June 2012, 8:15. Still remember that date at the time. And that guy phones me. And then he said to me, Lulu, have you got the manager? I says, no. Have you got the coach? I says, no. Have you got nutrition? No. Have you got physio? No. Have you got doctor? No. Why ask me suddenly all these questions? No, he said to me, I just wanted to know how do you do it. That was the end of the story. On the 19th of July, I went to the shop. No, I didn't go to the shop. I received a message from a friend of mine. She said, "Doctor, I was at work in Mrathon." I still remember that day. I was at work. Sometimes I used to park my car from where I was working to home. It's 22 km. I would park my every Wednesday. It was a norm. Every Wednesday I was running from home to work. But there, after work, running back home. It's about 44 kilometers a day. I remember the other guy met me and he said to me, my friend, I said, what? He said, "Are you mad?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Every Wednesday I meet you." He was riding a bicycle every morning. "Why are you running? Are you mad? Don't you have money for the taxi?" I said, "No, I've got money for taxi. But this is my life. This is my lifestyle. This is what I chose to do." And then when on the 19th, my friend says, "No, I take it lightly." I said, "No, you need to get lawyers." I said, "What? Lawyers? Lawyers for what?" She's a doctor. You know, when doctor talks, you get shivered. What is wrong? She said, "I didn't know." She saw the nose and I was clueless. One friend of mine sent me another message again. What nonsense are they talking about? I didn't know. I was in a dreamland. And I couldn't understand at 1 + 1 or 2 what is happening. On my way driving back home, I was supposed to go to the stadium to train. And I received a call from one of the newspapers called Daily Sun. He said, "Mama Bolo," I said, "Yes, how are you?" "No, I'm fine. Where are you going?" "No, I'm going to train." "To do what?" "No, to train as usual." He said, "No, you can't train." "Why? Why did I go wrong?" He said, "No, you have tested positive." "Positive? For what?" "No, don't you know?" "No, I don't know." "Have you got a letter?" "I don't know." You know, he asked me questions, security questions about all what happened. But I couldn't understand still, but I was just answering him under general, like normal. And guess what? What happened is I went to the stadium, and then when I reached there, I was training with my little brothers. I called them my brothers. I was training with them. And when I reached there and I looked them into the eyes, the other one was like crying. And I asked him, "What is wrong?" He was shaking. And I said, "Why are you shaking?" He said, "No, haven't you heard?" I said, "Nothing. I haven't heard anything." He said, "No, I was reading on the internet. They said you tested positive. Is it real?" And you know what happened? During the same night, I went back home. I thought maybe he was joking. Because I don't know why. I believe in myself. I've never done anything wrong. I have sacrificed for that race. I didn't leave my job, going to train. What saddened my heart is my team couldn't support. They were supporting the second guy because he was from the Lebe. They wanted him to take the prize. That is all about the hardship of life. That is why let us embrace. That was the challenge that I went through. I have to prove myself. I have to prove saints that I am innocent. And it was a very difficult moment of my life. I was watching the news in my house with one of my athletes. I saw there the picture, they said, "No, test is positive." I was looking like this. And that guy looked at me and he cried. He said, "Why are you quiet?" I said, "No, I am surprised with what I'm seeing there." You know, at that moment, that is when I realized that God is alive. And God is with us. And God will never forsake anybody. That 2012, I went through tribulation. I went through hard times, hardships. But I am so grateful that God made it possible. He's God of possibilities. If God has promised you, there is no one that can take that is what belongs to you. God is God, He will never change. We people will change. But God, He will remain the master. Even in the book of Exodus, He never employed any engineer to say, "Come and survey this land." He said, "Let there be land," there was land. "Let be trees," there was trees. "Let be birds," there was birds. He commanded, He's a commander. Our God is commander. 2012, I have seen God. You know, I was so brave. Every morning, I knew I would receive the calls, and people were so crying. And I said, what? I didn't kill anybody. If there's such as positive, it means I have to come in. And the worst part is, in my life, I've never been in a chemist. In my life, not ever. Since I started running, I don't go to the doctor. Since from 2002, I go to the doctor when I've got pain in my knee, nothing. I remember 2012, I went to my church, it was at CC. Everybody was crying, my home, like all the people, they were phoning my father, how is he? Some meet me even in town and come and touch me and say, are you still alive? I said, yes. How do you do it? They couldn't believe, but because I'm a Christian and I believe in my church. And guess what? God is wonderful. At that moment when I was crying, everybody was screaming my name, this and the one, the dope, whatever. And I said, I remember the other night, that is when I cried. It was only once, 12 o'clock midnight, I can't forget that. And I said to my wife, my wife was crying every day. What happened? I said, I don't know. Nobody knew but God knows. And I said to her, God knows. That night I prayed, I said, God, you have known me from my mother's womb when I was a child. And whatever these people are saying, I'm talking to you. You know me. You know the hardship. You know the sacrifice that I made to achieve this. There is one thing that I'm asking. Because you are God, please, I only need one. I don't need money. I just need 2013 to go there and run. Remember, by that time I was bad. I couldn't even run. I couldn't do anything. But can I tell you something? On that difficult time, I was training everything. People thought I was mad. They come to my house and said, we come to donate food. I said, I don't need food. This time what I need is God. I don't need anybody to come and feel pity for me. Because I don't know what happened. 2010, I went, nothing wrong. 2011, I went, nothing wrong. 2012, after 7 years, the race was dominated by the foreigners. When I won, and then they said I lost the race, I said to them, you wanted to tell me that South African, we are not good as we used to, like the times of Bruce Fordyce and Titus Mamabolo. That was a very difficult moment of my life. But I had faith. And that faith made me prosper. Because I remember the other time I went to our church, there was a very little untidy girl. You can't even, I remember that time I was going to another school to do motivational talk. I was with my father, he was driving. And that girl asked my father permission to speak to me. The way she was dressed, she was not like, my father said, no, you can't talk to me. I said to my father, no, you need to speak to this person. And guess what? That girl, by that time, I was in tears, I was crying. Oh God, what happened? But I said to him, because you are God, I will never doubt you. And what happened the other time I was reading the scripture, I get the scripture in the Bible where it says, we as Christians, we have to understand that there are two evil forces. The other ones come to support and to destroy. So there are forces. There's a Holy Spirit and there's an evil spirit. So they are fighting over the dominions because the evil spirit is with us in the world. It is not above. That girl said to me, God has sent me to tell you that the coming years you had dreamed and you wanted to go to Jerusalem. One day you will go to Jerusalem. Wow, what amazing. And everybody, I was crying in tears and I said, how can God promise me? How am I? The first question is, I never even went to hearing. But this child is telling me that I will go to overseas. But my question was, God, how would I go there? I don't even go to hearing. How will I pass this burden that is over my shoulder and my head and my feet is everywhere. I'm in prison. How will I go there? But I dreamed it. I wanted to go. I didn't know honestly. I had a dream that one day I will be in Jerusalem. Myself, I had a dream. And that girl came and told me in 2012 when life was very difficult for me. I said, God is God. Then I went into our church. There are prophets there. Then I went into the church. Other prophet took me. And then I knelt down. He said, God said, I must tell you. Not long. You will go to Jerusalem. Are you, I said to him, are you all right in your head? He says, yes. Didn't you smoke anything? No. Didn't you drink maybe alcohol? With bed. Everywhere you go, you speak. But there's one thing that I love about God. He gave me the strength. I never gave up. Every day I used to go and buy a newspaper. I wanted to see myself. I wanted to read what they say about me. Every morning I went. There was the other time where I found a journalist myself. I said, why didn't you write about me today? The way I was made. Because why? God has invented the spirit. God has invented faith. God has invented me strength. That you know what? I will go through this. And then I went through all the process of the hearing. Through God's mercy, while I was praying, I knew myself, I knew how I am going to win the case. I was sleeping, God showed me the way. This is the proof. That guy who phones me, they wanted to find out if is there any ground or is there anyone, whether I've got a lawyer or whether I've got someone who can stand for me. Because I had no coach, I had nothing. So to them, I deserve nothing because I am nobody. But I have won for the country. I have won for South Africa. The big man. But they want to take. But I said to God, it took me 11 months to clear my name. 11 months. And I was training every day. I remember the other time my mother asked me, my son, aren't you really mad? Can't we go maybe see a doctor? I said, no. I said, why? He said, no. You can't run when they have dented to your name. You should have rested. And I said, no. The God that I'm praying, I have faith in. I said to my mother, even all these people think they can judge me, but God knows me before you brought me into this world. And then God that has protected me from my unborn days until today, He will make a way for me. 2013, I prayed very hard and I said, Lord, please, I don't want money anymore. These people, they make me suffer. I don't want money anymore. The contract were cut and everything. I had no income. But then, guess what? I was leading. My car never stopped, so I was still driving my car. People were talking, they took the car from him. People will just talk their own story. They create their own stories. And they will even come to you and ask, how are you? Then they shake your hands. But then when they leave, the bad mouthing. That's how I've learned and God is shown. Because sometimes in life, you need to know who your enemies are. Even Jesus Christ himself, you know that Judas Iscariot is going to sell him. But he never said him go away. He was with him all the time. So even myself, I learned to live with my enemies. They would come to me, how is the case? I said to them, no, I have lost the case. You've lost the case, so much money. Yeah, I have lost it. Because they wanted to know how far I am, what is going on. God has given me their secret. And I remember very well, it was the 12th of February 2018. I said, God, I have run the race. Now is the time I give up. I have believed in you. But nothing comes. I've given up, and I look upon you as God to provide. You didn't provide me. They never created me. I am not running. I don't know what is happening in my life. And on the 13th, I received a call from my attorney. They said, now you are allowed to run. After 11 months, I went to Sulpasberg and I ran the marathon. I ran the 21 kilometer and I won it. And I went to Comerades. I remember even the journalists, they were asking me very difficult questions to such an extent they went to me. And everybody, the whole nation, they were tweeting and WhatsApping, and I didn't know that. I was just quiet, and they didn't know that I'm coming to run 2013. 2013, I came forward, and the whole world went mad. South Africans, everybody. They went mad to such an extent that how 11 months I haven't been preparing for them. I was under stress. But I said to them, it is all mighty God's power and strength. And God wanted to show the world that He is alive. God wanted to show South Africa that He is God. God wanted to show the whole continent that He is God. He is the provider. He will leave us. So I'm the proof of that. I've lived that. In 2014 as well, I went there and I came second last year, down run 5 hours 33. And now their leagues are saying nothing anymore. But I'm very grateful to be on this holy land and for Beatty Isis Apiro, for what you are doing, looking after those people. I don't know how to explain it, but can Almighty God give you the strength and power? Run the race, but don't get tired. God must invent endurance for you to make those disabled people realize that they are people who are caring for them. Even myself, I said, if I can win Comrade, I have 2 children from the street, then I'm training with them. Every day, I share them with my knowledge, my philosophy, whatever I've got, I share with them. So seeing you doing that, it really encourages me to go back to my country, to do more than what I have done. Let us look after the needs. Let us provide those who are in need. Let us not look where they're coming from. In my conclusion, I'm saying that the team that I'm doing now, I call it the TPT, is the podium, is together podium team. I said, if I can win Comrade, you can win it, but you need the right tool. So I'm guiding them, and I'm very grateful God has given me the strength. My team is growing as well. They are winning races almost every weekend, and I'm happy about that. And for BT, Issa Sapiro, may the Almighty God give you the strength. And even Miss Rag South Africa, thank you very much for brought me here. And I believe in myself. Next week, Friday, very excited to run Jerusalem Marathon. I've heard a lot of you, it's hard or whatever. But there's never been a hard year that I've experienced in 2012 in my life. And I don't think I'll be shaken again. I'm standing still. And this year, 2015 is mine. I'm speaking here. Life has taught me that if you accept the challenge, you will be rewarded. So whatever you go through in your family, whatever your children are going through, let us know there's only one God. And that God will never leave you. That situation or the condition that you are is just for the meantime. It's not a lifetime thing. I'm talking from an experience. There are things that will come in our lives in order to distract us to achieve our goals. Let us not allow that. Even in our children, we must teach them. They must know that each and every storm, there is success. I thank you very much. I'm looking forward for Jerusalem Marathon still. is mine. People
If anyone wants to ask Ludwig any questions,
ask any
now's the
question,
time.
don't be afraid of something. It's not a joke. I was ill the whole after I've seen the doctor says I was right. I went to training 2011. When I was going to 2011, he comes back and I said, I'm not going to the doctor again. I'm waiting for you, God. I was healed on 2011. God sent another prophet from Free State to my homeland in Limpopo. And it's just a simple thing. She just took, there is a Vaseline that we use at our church. She mixed it with salt. And she rubbed me, she said to me, know that you are healed, you can go and run the following day. Since from then it was gone.
I didn't get it.
We'll send you some Vaseline and salt.
Vaseline and salt, that's what you do. I went to physiotherapists, they put needles here. I was still in pain. Yes?
What is your advice for common people who are going to run the Comerades?
Comrades.
Yes.
For those who are going comrades, you need to do a lot of endurance. This is the upper run and do a lot of endurance. Make sure that your body is not dehydrated. Do your training session. Be yourself. Don't try to be Mama Bolo. Don't try to be someone. Have your own goals according to your abilities that God has given you. It's just training and focus. That's what I can say. Answer. Thank you.
Do you have a rest day during the week when you train 7 days a week?
I'm training Monday until Sunday. The only time when I rest is when I'm doing only one session, which is on Saturday and Sunday. The rest is twice. Monday I woke up at 4:30, go and train, bath, work, after work, grounds training again.
How many hours is that?
In the morning I'm doing 16 kilometers, which is around, I covered it 1 hour, 59 minutes sometimes. No, it's not a joke. And my long run, my advice again to that question, don't run Comrades on training. You'll run Comrades at the day of the race. On my training, do 50, 55. Most of, I find it strange. In my country, people are doing 7 hours. I can't do it. It's too much for my body. I just do 3:45, 4 hours, and then that's it. Yes?
What is your daily diet like? What are you eating to sustain your training pattern?
No, for now, thanks to 32 GI, Mark Wolf is looking after me. I've got 32, I've got protein, I've got endurance drinks that I normally use. Normally I eat bread in the morning, but I love my pap. I still eat pap every day. So now I'm here, it's a problem. I just whatever is to me. Because if you live in Rome, you must do what? Rome is good. So I didn't bring my meaning.
You get it at Wheatland.
Yes?
How do your family cope with your training and your addiction?
Yeah, it was very difficult for the first time in my wife. When I met her, I told her, I love you. I love you, and I like you, and I want you to be my wife. But there is a burden that you must know. I've been wished to be a runner, to be able to handle it. He says yes. First couple of months we were fighting here. The other time I remember she was going, I was doing 32 kilometers. She was with me. You see when you reach the robot. So say stop. I said, you know what? Tell her to go back home. Then she went back and I went training. When I came back, I said, Ma, you know what? I love you so much, but there's one thing in my life. If you say stop running, then my heart will stop beating. Then I'm dead. Now she understands. She even support me. Sometimes when I'm late, she'll say, hey, are you going training today? It's about education. We need to educate our husbands, we need to educate our wives on what we're doing. What is quite challenging in South Africa is we don't educate our husbands, our wives about what we're doing. Sometimes take them. There was one friend of mine, I was training him before. Now he's the champion. He never used to be a. The other time, it was 3 o'clock. I went to fetch him, he must go to the race. And his wife said to me, he never told me, he was gossiping, talking. And he was telling him and the other people that I'm taking him to see another wife, to see another girlfriend. I said, oh, is what he said. The other time I went there, never told me. We were going to the race. I said, don't tell them. In the morning I was there, I said, come into the garden. I said, no, I'm not going there, I didn't bath. I said, come in the car. She went into the car and then went to the race. I said, you stay here and wait for us. You know what? Guess what? When we came back, all of us, the athletes were going and she was there. And then she experienced, and she said to me, she apologized. She said to me, I am sorry. I gossip that you treat my boyfriend to girlfriends. I am very sorry. I didn't know running was like this. I said, I am so happy. You come here and observe. People must understand what you're doing.
Any other questions?
Have you thought about trying to break the 2-hour barrier?
Something?
2-hour marathon barrier. There's a lot of talk now in the runners' world about.
My fellow Africans won't be able, I think 201 is coming on the way, but I won't be able to do it. With the Comerades that I'm running, it's going to be very difficult. Because the transition from a marathon to an ultra distance, it's a variation transition, it's very difficult. But 201 is coming from our African brothers. I'm 100% sure 201 is coming, not 2 hours. But for me, I'm a Comerade runner. What am I doing now is to plan to break the records. That's for Comerade.
Yeah,
You mentioned that you run with pain, and you use pain, you ignore it, it doesn't stay with you kind of thing. I mean, you don't listen to your body at all?
I listen to my mind. My mind is the key to my body. Because the body will always say, I am tired, but the mind says I can do it. The mind is the key. I always listen to my mind, not the body. Because sometimes there were times when I would do 10 trial on Saturday, running alone doing about 155, 32 kilometers. The following morning I was going to 45 kilometers. Easy job, easy run. 4 minutes to 4 kilometers is very difficult. You see, my body will say, no, I don't want to go there, but my mind says, I am going there. So the mind is the key.
yeah. Can I ask, what about representing South Africa in the Olympic Games? Is that on the agenda?
Not for myself. I'm training I've got a very strong young boys. They are coming. At my age, 37, I think I've reached my maturity about the marathons. I must just focus on ultras. I'm training very young guys. The other one, he was the silver medalist. He's going to World Champs. With those young guys, they will do, but for me, no. I'll run ultra marathons like 50 championships and 100 kilometers. That's what I'm planning to do.
Do you ever wake up and just feel like you can't be bothered and can't get going?
No, I had those days. I had those days. I had those days. You know what I do in my house? Each and every wall in my house, there is a program. In my house, each and every wall, there is a program. When I feel like that, I go and look at the program. I say, the program. And then the next thing, I don't talk to anybody. Go into my bathroom, put my shoes on, and look at the program, and I'm out. I feel that sometimes I want to sleep. It's impossible.
Wow.
For me to come to Jerusalem, I came here to see the Holy Land, and running the marathon will be bonus for me, and I'm looking forward to do my best. If I will run 2:16, probably I'll be happy. But God knows, I need 2:50. I need 2:15. The record I think is 2 hours, 16 minutes, 8 seconds.
Okay, last question. Someone in the back had a final question.
saw the hand. Any question?
Last question in the back.
Do you still play soccer?
Sorry?
Do you still play soccer?
No, I have left soccer 12 years ago. No, I'm no longer playing soccer anymore. I lost that love. I have inherited the madness in that family.
You have a social life.
I know that question was coming. People were saying my life is boring, I don't have a social life. You can imagine being a full-time worker, a runner, a husband, Christian, father. Honestly, I socialize only with my family. But with my friends, when they've got party, I go there for a certain time. I won't stay all the whole night party. Social life for me is very limited. It's only with my family. That's when I've got social life with my kids running around the house.
What do you think about when you run?
Sure, it's a good question.
What do you think about when you run?
Well, what comes up in my mind is I believe each and every individual who goes into the stand is a winner. But when I run, I want to achieve more. I want outstanding results. And when I run all the time, like I said, I satisfy myself. If I don't run, I get sick. Even at work. The day that I didn't train, they will tell me, you didn't train. I said, why? They said, we saw you in the face. My face is not glowing.
But why are you running? On the run, what's going through your mind?
No, what I always, sometimes when I run, I visualize Kenyans, I visualize my great-grandfather, I visualize Kotov. I've got a lot of visions in my mind because I'm so passionate about it.
Hamstrings as well.
Thank you so much. On behalf of all the children at Baby Shapiro and the lone soldiers at Habai Benji, we really thank you for sharing your personal story of triumph with us. Both the organizations tonight represent people who have their own massive ultra marathons every day of their life to get through. And we deeply share in your mission of empowering others to overcome life's challenges, and with courage and bravery and faith like you have. So thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for coming to support us, and thank you so much. Our sponsors, and we've just got the certificate for Ludwig that says, presented with our deepest gratitude to Ludwig Mamabola. Your courage and achievements are an inspiration. Wishing you continued success. Your friends in Israel at Beit Izzy Shapiro and Abai Benji.
Thank you. Now when I'm running a race, I'll think about my friends in Israel.
Wow.